Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of True Dungeon Talk with Trent. My name is Trent of TrentTokens.com. I'm a really big fan of the game called True Dungeon and an avid collector of tokens. Wicketchu. That's a new word. That's the new word for the day, Wicketchu, which you can see back here on these shelves here. Those binders are full of tokens. If you're not familiar with the game, it's the little game pieces that we use to play the game. Welcome to the show. In today's episode, it's a very special episode. We're going to be interviewing an amazing NPC and volunteer of True Dungeon, Ashley Burns, who makes her own costumes. So we're going to talk all about that. And if you haven't yet, do all that subscribing stuff and clicking and sharing and all the algorithm things that I always forget about, but I'm glad I just remembered to do. And if you have already done that, thank you very much. And also, stay tuned until the end of the episode. There's going to be a special announcement for True Dungeon fans. That's right. Stay tuned until the end. Special announcement. But without further ado, let's get to the star of the show, Ashley Burns. Everyone, please welcome Ashley Burns.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Oh, the audience loves you. Look at all that applause.
Oh, good. Normally, they don't like me.
Oh, I can't believe that one bit. Hello, Ashley, and welcome to the show.
Hello, Trent. How are you? And thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for asking. I am well. I like to say every day I wake up is a good day. So I hope you are well as well. You as well as well? Man, I'm just making up all kinds of crazy words today. So yes, welcome. So let's say hello to the people in the chat here. Kusig, hello. B Powers, hello. William, John at True Dungeon. Who is that? Guildstrife, Mr. Tomothy, also known as Tom/Cavadar. I'm going to try to remember that Mr. Tomothy is Tom/Cavadar. And Sarah, hello. David, hello. And let's see if there's anything crazy. Kusik says anytime there's a TD related things is a good weekend. Yes, I agree. Happy Saturday to you as well. And Tom is Wicketchu, the Wiccan Pikachu. So see, it is a word that exists. And Sarah says, yay, Ashley. Yay, Ashley. I agree, Sarah. And Kusik says he's only attacked the Dryad once. Yeah. So again, everyone, please stay tuned to the end for a special announcement. I got a little checklist over here, by the way. We did the algorithm stuff. I just said welcome to the show. And now we get to the icebreaker section of the interview. Ashley, are you ready for the very secret, very difficult icebreaker questions?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Okay, this is just to get the juices flowing, you know, so we can, then we get to the happy stuff. All right, so first question, favorite color?
Purple.
Correct. Favorite book or movie?
Sabriel by Gareth Nix.
Incorrect. I don't know what that is. Oh, now you have to tell us what it is. What is that? Is that a book or a movie?
Yes. So Sabriel is an older book. It kind of came out near Game of Thrones when Game of Thrones was coming out. It's an 80s writer. But he does a necromancy series that is really good. So if you haven't heard of Gareth Nix, you should totally check out his book Sabriel.
Wow. So now I'm wondering, do you play that if you ever played D&D? The Necromancer, is that a class?
Yes. So there's a subclass of wizard that delves into necromancy. And I've actually played a necromancer named Mahira. So.
All right. So no one make Ashley angry because she has evil spells. Next up, cats or dogs?
Definitely cats.
Okay, definitely cats. Name of your first pet?
Dara, my sweet kitty.
Dora. Now I have to. I don't know where that comes from. It's definitely not Dora, the cartoon. Where's Dara come from?
It was when I was looking up pet names for your cat. It came up and it means star. So he's always thanking her lucky stars that she's alive. So.
Oh wow, how sweet! So you're a necromancer who's very sweet.
With my familiars.
With the familiars, understood. All right, favorite type of music?
Definitely rock. I like rock.
Okay, favorite food?
Thai spring rolls with peanut sauce, all the way.
Really? So not a general category, a very specific food inside one of those categories. Interesting. Okay, favorite hobby?
Definitely Dungeons and Dragons and sewing.
Wow. Oh, that sounds like a show. Welcome to Dungeons and Dragons and Sewing. Today we're going to make a beholder. Pew, pew, pew. All right. Thank you. That was the Icebreaker's questions. You passed with flying colors. Good job.
Oh, good. I was worried.
All right. So for anyone in chat, I assume you know that this is where you can ask questions. Do me a pretty tiny favor. Type question dash and then the question so my eyeballs will find it. And if I happen to miss your question, feel free to say it again. So to make sure that I get to it. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us in the show. And Sarah says, Ashley's peanut sauce is the best. So something tells me you know how to cook and that Sarah has had your food before. Is that true?
Yes. Yeah, Sarah is one of my friends, and sometimes I do Thai nights. So I make like homemade peanut sauce and spring rolls and pad Thai and all kinds of stuff.
Which you just said was your favorite food. Ooh. I do like Thai food, and spring rolls are great. Now, you use the rice paper so you can see through. You can see the shrimp.
Yep. Yeah, I put it in water. I roll it right up and dip it in peanut sauce. And nobody's ever complained about my peanut sauce, so it's really good.
I'm a big fan of peanuts. So sorry for all the people who are allergic. For those of you who are allergic, it doesn't taste that good. So you're not missing anything. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're not missing anything. Don't worry.
It has nothing to it. And peanut butter cookies, they're not the greatest thing ever. Okay? So don't worry about it. So again... Yes, I agree. So anyone in the chat, please ask questions, and I'm going to jump to our general category questions. Now, do you play True Dungeon, volunteer? I already know the answer to this one, or both.
Yes, I do both. I've played pretty much everything since 2019. So yeah, I've played everything that True Dungeon has to offer. I haven't played the B series that have come out, but I have played the originals.
Now, how do you volunteer, especially as an NPC, and then also play if it's the same one? Does that mean you don't get to play that one?
No, most of the time I hook on to the last run of the night and I just follow them through the dungeon. And then I get to kind of enjoy it from their perspective. So.
But you don't get to play the rooms that are before you if you do that.
Yeah, if there's like if there's a second shift, then I'll always go and I'll buy a ticket and play through that shift. But if there isn't a second shift, then I just kind of hook myself on so I can get some of the experience.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, if it's the last run, especially if it's the last run of the con, if I try to usually get into that run, we usually make it a one of us run. So the first NPC or whoever's there, we drag them into the second room, and then the second room, we drag them into the third room, and so on and so on, and periodically chanting, one of us, one of us. So it's very exciting. Now, next up, how did you first hear about True Dungeon?
That was back at 2018 PAX South. I had gone to PAX South for a few years then, and then True Dungeon was there. And I was like, oh, you know what? This looks like fun. I don't have anything in my schedule. Let's do it. And it was one of the Felorians kind of themed dungeons, and I was just blown away. Instantly bamboozled by the costumes and the actors, and I was like, this is going to be my life now.
This is my life now. I know the feeling. Now, was it a demo or did you do a full run?
I did the full run. I just jumped in feet first and tried to figure out where I was going to fall.
Now, was the first room with the tree and the apples and things that came?
Yep.
Oh, my God. That would hook anyone if that was their first time. That room is still one of the most amazing rooms of all time.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was gorgeous. My favorite puzzle was actually in there. It was the one with the flowers that you had to smell and try to figure out the scents. That was the only puzzle I've ever been good at. Do not give me any other puzzle but that one, because I will probably fail at it when I run. So,
I think my normal group had no idea what to do in that first one, and then once we kind of figured it out toward the end, we ran out of time. But even knowing what to do when we came through again, it was not easy. So that was a good puzzle. Now, for someone who has never heard about True Dungeon, how would you describe it?
I would say True Dungeon is like D&D meets escape room meets Disney World, because the NPCs and costumes are just impeccable. Like I take that as like Disney level quality when you have NPCs that are performing really, really well and engage you in the world. So I would definitely say True Dungeon is like a mix mash of that. You get just the best of everything, and there's something for everybody. Like maybe you like the shuffleboard, like me. I love the shuffleboard. I will fight every NPC that's a monster. I mean, that's what I love to do. So
I agree. There is something for everyone. I think it just runs the complete gamut. There's the power level players, if you will, or the insane collectors, which I would also categorize myself in.
Yep.
But it could just be a casual yearly event. You just go to your favorite convention, you get 1 10-pack, you play through, and the next year, now you have 20 tokens. It's totally fine. You don't really need to go crazy with tokens to play the game. And some people love to memorize the different things. You could cosplay. I know groups that come through and cosplay through it. It really is something for everyone. Well said there. Let me check the chat here. Gilstrife has a question. When playing an NPC, have you ever wanted to punch a rude dungeon runner? Oh my God. I should probably not ask all these questions. Okay, but it's too late now.
It's too late. Let's do it. There have been some interesting people that have come through the dungeon, maybe a little bit too intoxicated. I've never wanted to punch anybody, but you know, there's way to diffuse situations without violence, like especially if I'm playing a sassy character. All I have to do is be sassy. So
got it. All right, I'm gonna take that as a no.
No, I've never wanted to hurt anybody in the dungeon. Never.
Yeah, I've never seen anyone come through intoxicated either. I guess I've just not noticed. Interesting. All right, so Kusik says she may be on a run Thursday at GameholeCon. Are you on a run Thursday at GameholeCon?
Yes, so if you're going to GameholeCon on Thursday, I will be on the last run of that day. I did buy a ticket. So that way I can get treasure on my birthday. So cool. I wish I was going because I'd love to join that. Next up, Kusik says #join us. Tom says we were so bad at the first Felurians puzzle we were a bit distracted. I'll ask you on a different show, Tom, why you were distracted. Nerd Immersion says I'm here. Hello, Nerd Immersion, and welcome. Kuzik says, I don't know anyone who went crazy on tokens. I agree. Me neither. Yeah, I don't know
Nerd
anybody.
Immersion says, yeah. I happen to know you're lying, Nerd Immersion, because, I know your dealer. Matthew says, yeah, Pirates will be there in October. Ah, cool. Great.
Ebony Bay.
Excellent. Phil Evans. Hello, Phil.
Oh, no.
Well, I'm sorry, Phil. Your question has been banned. No, here we go. Question: what has been the favorite costume you've made? Now we have a costume section of my chat here, or of our chat rather. You're welcome to answer that now or later. What is the favorite costume you've made?
Costume. I would have to say my favorite costume is probably Cavadar, because that was a big costume that I made, especially for SkullCon. And it took a lot of creative energy to kind of go through it, because Jeff was like, hey, just do what you want. And I was like, cool, I'll make something good for you. So we used like the green of the token. We color matched that fabric to what Cavadar's wearing. And we kind of incorporated a more monk feel, like kind of Doctor Strange-ish. So definitely Cavadar's one of my favorite costumes, and actually Phil Evans ran that combat. So it was like the best pair of DM and NPC together in one room. Really like a power couple in the old.
Wow. Well, I would describe you and Tom as a power couple, because you both are amazing NPCs and your costumes always look great. And now we know why, because you make them. But yes, that's quite the trifecta to have Phil run the room. I do remember running in that room. Phil instantly killed me with something I don't know. It doesn't matter. He kills me all the time. But for the True Dungeon fans out there who knows the Drugar's death die, if you have that, you take a 20-sider and you roll it. And I think 0 to 10, nothing happens. but 11 to maybe 19, you come back with 1 health point. Maybe someone could check to see if that's wrong. But a crit does bring you back, and if I'm not mistaken, it brings you back to full health. So I rolled and rolled a crit, and I came back to life. So to Phil. I'm sure he wanted to illegally kill me, but he let me live because you got to let the dice do the talking.
Yeah.
Gilstrife says, question: when playing an NPC, what's the weirdest player interaction?
The weirdest player interaction. Okay, I do have.
I guess that you've dealt with.
So at Gen Con, I was playing Eva the Dryad. And I had a woman come in, fall at my feet, and try to kiss my feet. And I said, please, my DM, of course, stepped in and was like, hey, with some space, please. But I would say that was the weirdest interaction. I mean, just to have somebody instantly come in and fall at your feet and want to start kissing your feet. And then she was kissing the floor. So I was a little bit worried for her health after that. But that was pretty funny. Yeah.
That does sound like the weirdest. And you didn't know this person? They weren't playing along?
I've never seen them as a player in my life. I think they were one of the new Gen Con, players that were coming in, because I know a lot of my routine players that come through, but I'd never seen this woman in my life before, and her friends at the end were giving me tokens, I'm sorry, she's weird. And I was like, I'll take your offerings, you're in my realm, give me your tokens. So
sure.
they threw me a few commons and as an apology. It was pretty funny.
That's awesome. Yeah, here, keep quiet, don't tell anybody. Here's a couple tokens. Yeah. I love it.
Bribe your NPCs.
Very cool. Gilstrife is rolling with all the questions. So everybody else, ask some more questions. So it's just going to be the Gilstrife show. He does say that he also loved Tom's costume. Matthew says, flip side, what's been your favorite moment in a dungeon, either as a player or NPC? And I think Gilstrife kind of asked the same question. What was the funniest player interaction? Maybe that's 2 separate questions. So what was the favorite moment in the dungeon?
So
either as a player or NPC.
As a player, was walking into Ebony Bay at Gen Con, because I did one Ebony Bay run, and it was Tiffany Age was playing Ella at the time. I made sure that she was on, and I walked into the room. I was like, "Can you be my wife?" And she's like, "Sure, I'll marry you." So we had an impromptu wedding between Ella and me and her.
Okay.
And I was totally bad at her puzzle, so it was a lot of fun though. That was the best experience. I love Tiffany Age. I love working with her.
She's great.
Just a wonderful NPC, so being able to see her in action was a real treat. Say the funniest interaction as an NPC was at Gen Con again. I have a lot of Gen Con stories.
Okay.
Some man came in and threw his child at me. I was like, here, take my firstborn son. I don't want him anymore. And I was like, as a fae, I was like, wow, you're just going to give me your child? And this kid was probably about 15. I was like, okay, I'll take
I felt like a small baby. Here you go,
Yeah, no. And his son was very disappointed. He's like, yeah, my dad's been trying to, kill me in every room. And I said, okay, then we'll kill your dad in this room. We'll just have single combat.
Perfect.
And his son loved that. He was so excited. So.
And did you do that? And did you kill him?
No, I wasn't able to kill him, but I gave his son a butterfly, and I told him, I was like, if your dad tries to do this again, I will find him.
Okay.
And I will drag him back to the Fey realms and turn him into a tree.
That's awesome. What fun. That's really, really cool. What a great story. Thank you for sharing. Farsteer says, I finally made a live one. Hi, Trent. Look, Mom, I'm famous. Welcome, Farsteer. That's right. You're famous.
Everybody, give it up for Farsteer.
Thank you very much for catching it live. That's very nice. And let's see. Actually, there's another one. Make it official. An interview with me next month. Oh, my God. I'll see if I can put you on the Love Gilstrife. Kuzik has a question. Can you tell us about your relationship with everyone's favorite goblin?
Sure. Yeah, I can tell you about my relationship with Grunnel. So it all started when Grunnell posted about his 12 rings. And I said, well, Grunnell, that's a lot of wives or husbands you have. And he goes, well, get on board, kitten. And I said, sure, make me the 13th. And so that's what started my engagement with Grunnell. I'm now his only Dryad queen. And sometimes he sends me little pictures in the mail. It's very cute. So.
Did you get rid of the other 12 that came before you?
Yes. Yes,
as
they're all
one
trees.
would. Of course.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm
Good.
the only one.
The only one. Okay, wonderful. Now we know. And Matthew was +1 in that, so we got that one. He says this is the TD's top current celebrity relationship. How great is that?
It is.
Wonderful.
Welcome.
I hadn't heard about it, so I'm glad you guys are asking these questions. Yeah. Stephen has a question. Have you heard about any TD adventures or NPCs from before you started playing that you wish you could play? What an interesting question.
Yes, when they were doing the kind of Underdark theme, I've always wanted to be a drow. I love drow. I could marry a drow. I hope they bring it back so that I can be a drow one day, because that sounds awesome. And all the stories I've heard about the drow betraying the party, being turned into a spider, I was like, yes, I'm all over that.
Wow, very cool. It's I can't imagine that a drow won't come back eventually. I mean, what a popular character, in many dungeons. So I bet you'll have your chance. That's just a bet. We shall see. And Kuzik says Team Grunnell, also ring 1 holder. Okay, is that special Team Grunnell talk? And Tom thought that was a good question. So I agree, that was a good question.
That was a great question.
So I'm going to jump to my questions now. Do you have a favorite TD convention?
Yes, I love PAX West, just because you can go down to the harbor and have great food. There are so many new players. I love new players because I don't know what to expect when they walk into the room. So it's always a fun treat to get new players in and just getting them into the role play and just seeing them really thrive and love it. I love PAX West for that.
Yeah, I there's something about every convention that I love, but about PAX West, the new players. When I went, I think it was it the first time True Dungeon went there? I feel like it was. And I knew like 3 or 4 or 5 people. Everyone else, out of all the hundreds and thousands of people that were there, they were all new. So it was just so amazing to see the eyes light up like, oh, wow, this is so magical. Yeah. I mean, it was just so cool to feel that wonderful energy. I was just over the moon happy at all the new people. So, yeah, that's a great convention. How has virtual True Dungeon been for you?
It's been a lot of fun just because we get to hang out with people that we usually get to see at conventions. And I've always been a player for virtual True Dungeon. So that's always a lot of fun. I get to see all the NPC and, the camera people are very awesome. The golems, they all have their own personalities. So it's always a lot of fun to mess with them a little bit. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I love virtual.
Yeah, what a godsend! What a great thing for True Dungeon. I mean, as a player and a supporter, it's just been an amazing thing. I'm really glad, and it's gotten better and better and better. Almost every time. So, just like the physical ones, those things get better every year as well. So, how cool is that? And again, everyone in the chat, if you have any questions, let me know. John at True Dungeon says, except Aaron, he's a judge. That sounds like a terrible thing to be. So poor Aaron. I think Aaron's okay. So, but speaking of okay, I have some pictures to go through here. Who's this?
That is my cat, Dara. She's also a lover of tokens. That's her little token shop from one of the virtuals we got some stuff back from.
Oh, yeah, I see. This must have been the one where the beggar was, because that looks like the piece of paper from a beggar.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, she's knocked down some of the tokens to walk off with later because she sticks them in her mouth and carries them around the house sometimes. And I'm like, oh,
Really?
got the cat addicted to True Dungeon too.
Oh wow! I've seen some photos where like their kids will help sort, and this is great. I think it's the first time I've seen a cat help sort.
She's
So
trying
that's
her
very
best.
cool. Now, I have. I'm going to go through another screen here. This is your Instagram. You already know that because you already know that. But for everybody in the audience and people watching the show, if you go to Instagram.com/burntthewaffles, you will see Ashley's Instagram. So let's first start off with what in the heck is this screen name, Burnt the Waffles? What does that mean?
Yeah, so my last name Burns technically means burning, and as a child, I used to burn everything I cooked. Before I became a really good cook, I used to burn everything. So as like a callback to childhood, burnt the waffles, like to when I wasn't the best at really anything. I was in that awkward child stage, so it just kind of stuck with me. So.
Okay, all right. Now I have we've got these first 3-4 photos over on my screen here. So let me jump to here and let's go through some of these. Now, first of all, for those people who don't know, you actually make your own costumes. Can you tell us about that? Like how you got into that, and that sounds so difficult and like an amazing talent to me.
Yeah, so this one is Cassipet from Skull Con. So this was my girl that would curse your party if you did certain things.
Okay.
That I mostly instigated because I wanted them to be cursed. But yeah, I have made my costumes for about 15 years now. Wow. I started when I was about 12 years old, and I've kind of progressed through there. So these ones were specifically made for SkullCon. I took on a more kind of sultry monk vibe. You know, Cassipet originally isn't from Cabadar's Citadel. She's from a different monk master. So I wanted it to feel different than most of the others. So this is the potion that the party could choose to steal from me, that she got from Cabadar herself, and she's very proud of that fact because all the women in Cabadar's Citadel have a crush on him. It's just
okay. Good to know.
So yeah. So this is what they would try to steal, and if they were successful, they would get cursed. And I had 5 curses that I'd put a little sticker on their sheet, and everybody lost their mind over stickers. I did not anticipate how popular stickers would be at SkullCon, but it was.
Now, what happened? What was the curse? Is that something you can tell us?
Yeah, so there were 5 different curses that Cabadar and I came up with as we're driving to Carbondale. One of them was like noodle arms, so your slides, you had to do it in a funky manner, like you had to slide differently when you were attacking something. Another one was unlucky. Another one was evil aura, so just kind of very basic, simple, easy curses to kind of remember, and you know they were on a sticker on the top of the party card. So.
Very cool. Yeah. And that curse applied in future rooms.
Yes, it all throughout the dungeon. So unless they figured out how to uncurse themselves, they would carry it all the way up to Cabadar.
That's right. There are ways to uncurse yourselves. So we have a couple questions here in the audience. Let's see. Let me click this and go here. First question is, if you could make one change to True Dungeon, what would you do? If you had a magic wand, I guess.
More stickers. I think we need to just have more stickers or sticker NPCs because it kind of adds a little bit, like, just a little something. Like, oh, you did something that maybe not every party will do. Here's a sticker on the party sheet, just so you feel special, which you are special for. I feel like when you do things that are not normal, like, you know, if you pick instead of combat to negotiate, like there should be rewards with that because it encourages really cool role play between NPCs and parties. So
got it. Now Pick says stickers rock. So it's funny that you mentioned that because what you just said sounds possible. And when I hear a question like that, I think of something that's not possible. And Matthew says, I'd be so happy to get a sticker on my character card, or even better, survivor pin. Well, you should not die, Matthew. You'll get a survivor pin. I want to answer this question, even though nobody asked me this question. I would make a True Dungeon like park, like some type of area where it would just be True Dungeon year round, or maybe just the summer or whatever, and employ local people to be actors and etc. Almost kind of like a Ren Fair, if you will. So basically make True Dungeon Ren Fair-ish type place with maybe rides for children, and of course some giant dragon at the end, and an actual cave or dungeon that you have to go through. So stay tuned for me to win the lottery and convince Jeff to do True Dungeon Park or something.
Yes.
All right, so let's see. There was another question here. What's your favorite class to play in True Dungeon?
Yes, I love playing Druid right now because I got this really shiny token. Yeah.
That's the big one.
Yeah, so now I can polymorph and slide, which I love to do. So
very cool.
I love doing that. So that is my favorite token ever. In class. Druid.
It's a great token, and also a great class. Now, what is your favorite thing to polymorph into, or is it case-by-case basis?
It usually depends on what I walk into the room. If I see it's like, maybe a fire base, then okay, maybe it's time to go like water or earth. So it kind of just varies. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I kind of play it by ear. But I find them all fun. So.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. I remember when I first started playing, Kirk and Ed, they were helping me build like my first character because they realized that I was nuts from the very beginning. So I was just getting all kinds of tokens. And I remember Ed telling me, of course I wanted to play the Barbarian. I did, and this is before I even played like the first time. I just was getting all kinds of Barbarian-esque tokens. And he said, you should think about other classes too. And of course I was stubborn. I was like, no, just Barbarian, that's it. Having no concept how the game even really worked truly, because I hadn't played yet. But he did say that the Barbarian tokens would transfer most of them over to a Druid, and he did recommend that as another class to play. So yeah, the Druid is very cool. Very cool. Farsteer says, Trent, that sounds awesome. Let's do it. All right, Farsteer, both of us. Let's win the lottery, and then we'll do that. Let me jump back to some photos here. Now, what is this? What am I looking at here?
So this is from the patron run at SkullCon. I also did the Lich outfit. So for most D&D fans, this is a callback to a Tomb of Annihilation or Tomb of Horrors. You see this motif throughout that book. So this is a little callback to D&D. Normally, if you were to stick your hand into one of these, like through the mouth, your hand would vanish or be taken off. So just kind of adds a level of like... sinister vibes for the Lich. So, that's a little callback to D&D. I try to add those when I can.
I see. So you made the Lich costume, and then you added this accent to that costume.
Yeah, I had a friend that 3D printed this, and then I painted it and sealed it up. And, he sanded it for me, thank God. But yeah, I did all the painting on that.
Well, it looks like it's gold or brass or heavy, some type of heavy metal. I mean, it's incredible piece. Yeah, nicely done. Now, here's another costume and NPC. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so this is Adora from the patron run at SkullCon. I had a token puzzle, if you will. And I was, told, she had died 200 years ago. So it's like, cool, I'll do some kind of ghost. So this is kind of my interpretation of a ghost. And she has like a death wound that you can see on her neck. So if people ask me, oh, how'd you die? I can be like, oh, yes, something happened. Like, I think something attacked my throat. And so, it's kind of an allude to other things in the dungeon, which of course is Katrina. She was the vampire that killed me.
Something like this, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. So, this is a cool photo we got of her draining me again. So love Katrina. She has such energy to play with in the dungeon. So yeah,
she's awesome. Yeah, she does a jump scare in her room. Now, Now, when you said
brilliant.
in this character, you did the token puzzle. Is this the room where you told me, Trent, you should know how to do this or something like that?
Yes, I told you. Yeah, I told you, Isadora, like, I feel like this is something you should know. And then it kind of clicked, like, towards the end. You're like, oh, wait. I was like, yes.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, I'm horrible at puzzles. I play barbarian on purpose. I consider myself a pretty good slider. Puzzles take brains. I have no brains. Clearly, I'm all looks. So when she said that, I thought, she has no idea how bad I am at puzzles. I don't know what she's talking about. And this is my thought process. This is going on in my head. The only thing I know, when it comes to True Dungeon is tokens. Wait a minute. Then I started looking around. I was like, okay, my knowledge of tokens. And then I started to recognize, why she said that. And I was like, oh, I can finally help at a puzzle. This means this. This means this. And one of them I couldn't quite remember, but I remembered all the rest of them. So, and then we kind of slayed through the puzzle. So I actually felt helpful there, so thank you for that clue.
Yeah. I knew you though. It was like, you know what? He's always said he's bad at puzzles. Maybe this will be the one puzzle he gets.
It was the one puzzle. Sometimes room ones I can do because they're more simple and usually they're team based. Like people can kind of give people clues. So the best I usually do at puzzle is say something kind of on the right track that pushes the smarter people to go, oh yeah, I know what, and then off we go. So I felt actually useful in that room. So Alan, who by the way is the photographer, Logical Focus, Alan Ali is the amazing photographer of all these amazing. So shout out to you, Alan. Alan has a statement, I guess. Ashley, you would make a great drow, but I haven't seen you play an evil NPC yet. Oh, is that true? I mean, the ghost wasn't evil.
No, she was friendly.
Oh, so is that true?
Yeah.
Have you played no evil NPCs?
Yeah, I've not played any evil NPCs. I've played more misunderstood NPCs. I wouldn't call them evil. But no, I have not. I've not played an evil character. I don't know if I could do it because I'm actually a very sweet person in real life. I can be a little bit too nice, so it would be a challenge for sure.
I see. So now, of course, the sinister person in me, that there's a little bit of that in there, and wants to ask Tom, Mr. Timothy, is it true? Is she always
nice?
So we'll see what Tom says there. All right. So Matthew says, he needs that necklace. So perhaps make those and put them on ashleyburns.com. Christopher Velez says Ash is a queen, so I agree.
Yeah, that Chris is actually one of my DMs. Really amazing guy.
Cool.
So be nice to him.
I am always nice to everybody. Christopher, thank you so much for watching the show. I really appreciate you joining. So Tom, he's got some points here. He says she's a sweetheart. Nope, he says she's a sweetheart, and that he's the evil one. So. There you go. Right. Kuzik says, don't put Tom on the spot. Too late. I already did it. Alan says, thanks, guys. It's easy with such a great NPC and patient model. The costumes are the real stars. We all know that it's also the photographer and the lights and shadows. Don't sell yourself short, Alan. You're an incredible photographer. Thank you for all you do for True Dungeon. And Adam... you've got some more fans here, Ashley. Adam Chapman says, and Ash is an incredible D&D player for the record. So you heard it here first from Adam. Is that true? Are you an incredible D&D player?
I wouldn't say that. There's a lot of great talent. I try my best. So I that's all I can say is I try my best. I'm a nerd, so normally I make costumes of my D&D characters, which, it's fun itself. Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was special. I would go to that one. I go to that one website where I can't remember, Hero Forge. Yeah, that's it. And make my little whatever character I'm playing. So I make a little mini through the computer, but you make your own costume. Okay, you win. That's much better.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I kind of win in that aspect. I'm like, yeah, I can already sew. Let's just make it. Like, nobody
Oh
else
my
can.
God. That's amazing. Oh man, I'd love to be in you guys' game. And Owl says, I try my best, quotation marks. We RP so hard, we cried for like 3 days. So yeah. And then Adam says, literally. Wow, you guys have quite the campaign.
Yeah.
Back to your amazing costumes. What are we looking at here? What character is this? And you made
Yes.
all of this, right?
Yes. Except for the props, the staff, Jeff makes those. He did an incredible job on that. But yeah, I made this outfit. This is Eva the Dryad from Gen Con. When I got accepted to go to Gen Con, I was like, I'm going all out. Like, I
Wow.
am going to go all out for this costume. It's Patrick Rothfuss's world. I can go and be a little bit more sensual because it's his world. So I did a kind of belly dancer inspired dryad. I did a cape flourish because my cape kind of drags on the ground as I walk in, and I kind of pull it to dramatically kind
Oh,
of like
cool.
show my sass to the party, basically, that I am better than them as a noble dryad.
Yeah, this is an incredible costume. For something like this, how long does it take you to make like this costume? How long does it take?
Sure. So from concept, which is, deciding how it's going to come together, to finishing it out and sewing it, it usually takes me 100 to 150 hours. There's a lot of hand sewing that goes into it. There's, of course, designing, pinning, finding the right materials for the project. And then, a lot of it's just creative energy. Like the bracelets, for example, on my arms are actually dried pressed flowers that I have glued over and over again to kind of bind into the wood. So there's tons of like little details here and there in pretty much every costume I do that's a callback to that character that Jeff creates.
Wow. And I've noticed somewhat of a theme in your costumes, that you have accents or pieces of jewelry or things that are very thematic for the costume and the character. Is that, I assume that's intentional.
Yes, yeah. So like for example, Eva has kind of on her stomach, like on the belly dancer, you see a moth that's kind of symbolizing, growth and different things that kind of come into the forest. So that one was from a Ukraine artist that I bought. And then
Wow.
I love metalwork necklaces. So I found one that was kind of like a pinkish stone that Eva's wearing that you can kind of see.
Yeah, you can see it better in this one. Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I also always usually try to add, if I can, animal NPCs so that the druid can finally speak with animals. So you can see I have birds kind of in there and stuff like that. So if they need a little extra help, like as an NPC, I can go, oh, would you like to talk to one of my birds? And,
Oh, okay.
they can have some fun with that, so.
Yeah, speaking of the birds, you can clearly see them in this photo, and oh my God, when I saw this photo, I was just blown away. This is absolutely one of the most amazing photos I've ever seen. This was clearly something, just everything came into play here. The actor slash NPC, your eyes, the way you're holding yourself, the costume is just through the roof. The headdress, the face covering, the way I mean. And then the lighting and the shadows and the photographer, the framing, the way you're looking head on. I mean, you and Alan killed it. You killed it. This is such an amazing, amazing, amazing photo. I just
Thank you.
can't say enough about how amazing it is. So really, really good.
Gen Con had a mask policy. So my thing is if my costume has to incorporate a mask, I'm going to make sure it flows with the attire. So you can't even really tell that like I'm wearing a mask because, to protect other people, it flows. It feels like it's a part of the design instead of just a piece that was added on. So that's like my big thing, like with costumes, like it should all flow together in a melody and not just be an afterthought in a way. So
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm serious. I just can't say enough about it. It's just such an
thank
amazing.
you.
I feel like for those of you who don't know, I have a little bit of acting and writing and directing experience. And when I look at this, I'm inspired to write a story about this character. You know, sometime like a short film or something. So it's really inspiring. I think for other people out there who create something, whether it be, you know, clay or paint or whatever, usually something will spark them, and imagery like this really sparks me. I just want to know how this character came to be, and it's incredible. So really super kudos to you and Alan there. Let me jump back to the chat here. The Kuzik says the evil quote unquote dryad. Was your dryad evil?
No, she wasn't evil. She just required you to pay proper respect to her. Just because
Okay.
a lot of times adventurers, they just come burrowing through, thinking they own everything, thinking they are the hot stuff of the world that they are in, but they are not the hot stuff when they enter into the Fey realm. So,
True.
you know, she was a bit off-putting, but once you kind of got into her good graces with gifts or just pleasantries, she became more of a teacher to help you be more successful.
Wow.
So.
Love it. Now, something upset Tom, so that means I definitely have to ask. It seems to be a question that Phil asked. Phil asked a question, can you talk about the Ava versus Tarly rivalry?
Oh, yes. Tarly, or Andy, as most know him as Epilogue Andrew.
Okay,
Sometimes
yep.
he gets to play NPCs, and he is the only Tarly I will ever adore. However, he loves to cause drama, and so do I. So it works kind of hand in hand. Him and Serenol, so Tom, kind of decided to have like a romance of sorts. So on the last run of Gen Con, very last run of the Lorian's Feast, they both come into my room and say, oh, we've gotten married to each other. And, you know, and of course, Eva's been telling players as they come through, like, oh, you know, Serenol betrayed me to be with Tarly. I don't know what he sees in Tarly. So there's like all this little tidbit drama. And they came in, and the party was already on my side, which was great. They didn't want to kill me. And they asked, well, what should we do? Do you want us to beat up Tarly and Serenol? And I was like, no, just insult them. So they spent like a good solid 2 minutes insulting them because they had just gotten married in the dungeon. So it was good.
That's great. And Tom apparently didn't like that. He says, this interview is over, all caps. I assume it was in response to that.
Yeah.
So Alan says thank you. Yes, well-deserved praise, Alan. Cover Stealing Badger, great name, says, I didn't even realize you were wearing a mask at Gen Con. You did an amazing job incorporating it into your costume. From the photos, I can't tell that you're wearing a mask at all. No, it definitely seems intentionally part of the costume.
Thank you.
And speaking of the costumes, again, if you go to Instagram.com/burntthewaffles, you'll see some of the other costumes. So these first few up here are from what we just went through. And I did want to just, make sure everybody saw some of this amazing work. Like, what's this one here? You're going through. What character was this from?
So this was from an old Curse of Strahd game I was in. This was Neria. She was a druid. The little purple creature is her familiar that druids kind of got in the most recent kind of upgrade for 5e. So so I have a little familiar that's from a Russian toy maker. So I bought that quite some time ago.
Wow. And how about this one?
This child is the one that's in Chris's game. Her name is Nia, and she is a Twilight cleric, Aasimar, that is very adventurous. She has a great group of friends that she is traveling with. So that is Nia's formal wear that I designed and made for her.
Wow, unbelievable. And here you are with your druid pet.
Yep.
Very nice. The photos are just incredible, and the costumes are amazing. I mean, I as a film lover, I think I'm watching a movie here, or a still rather from a movie. So these
Thank
are
you.
nicely done. Now this one, I really like this one. What is this?
This is Onali. She was my first Dungeons and Dragons character I made. She's a warlock.
Cool.
So yeah, this was kind of her warlock attire that I made. It's a lot of fun to wear. She's a bit of a nerd, so she's Book of Shadows, so you can see she has a spell book and
Yeah, I just love the things hanging off the belt here. It's crazy.
yes.
Yeah. Oh wow, this is very, very cool. What a great one. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
she's a
look
lot of
happy as well.
Yeah, she's a very bubbly warlock, so she's not your typical like edgy dark. She's very happy. So
All right. So let's look at a couple more here. And again, if anyone has any questions in the audience, let me know in the chat. So which is this one here?
So this one is sometimes I do Japanese fashion, and Japanese fashion is like Lolita, so it's very princessy, light colors. There's all kinds of different flavors of it. So sometimes I want to dress up and be really cute. So I do Japanese fashion when I do.
Wow, I've never heard of that Japanese fashion. That's really interesting. Very cool. Yeah, no, this is super princessy. Wow,
Yes.
very cool. Oh, I assume here's some more Japanese inspired fashion.
Yeah, so I also do another hobby I do is kimono. So I do traditional dressing in Japanese furusode, yukari, and just other types of clothes. So yeah, sometimes I wear it traditionally too. It's a lot of fun.
Now, is this something you purchased or that you made?
Yeah, so that is purchased from Japan. They are usually made a very particular way, and all has to be hand sewed. So I collect kimonos. You collect tokens, I collect kimonos.
Okay.
So,
Okay, well that's not a kimono. That's a evil vampire trying to eat you.
yeah.
Here's a couple more photos here of that. And then another Japanese inspired one maybe?
This one was from my cosplay days. So this was from Code Geass. This is CC. So I cosplayed a long time ago and made big dresses before TD stole my heart. So
Well, we are lucky to have you here. And as you can see, there's lots of more fun photos here. So definitely, if you're a fan of amazing costumes and great photos, and I'm sure we're all fans of Burnt the Waffles / Ashley now, if we weren't before. So definitely check out that Instagram page. Is there any other social media places that people could visit to see your work, or is your Instagram the main place?
pretty much Instagram. I'm not really social media savvy, so I try to just stick to one. So yeah, I mostly do Instagram.
Got it. Understood. All right. So if there's more questions, let me know in the chat. I'm going to scroll to my questions here. Do you have any favorite good or bad stories about Jeff that we can get out there? Bad rumors or,
Ooh, bad rumors about Jeff.
Yeah, lay it on us. Got anything? What can you tell us? We want to get him.
Yeah. So Jeff is a wonderful person. I love working with Jeff. So I don't have anything bad. And Lori is an amazing woman and scheduler. Like they are what I wish to be as a power couple. They're a really true power couple. Jeff is amazing. I love working with him, especially because he gives me such free reign with characters and costume ideas, and just I admire him a lot. Like he makes True Dungeons so much more amazing and fun. So nothing bad about Jeff and Lori. I could tell you a lot of shit about Phil. Phil Evans, I could
then
give
something
you a
bad
lot.
about Phil. Give me something here, because this is all crap. Jeff is great.
I
Lori's
know.
great. That's
It's
all
a
crap.
crapshoot, for sure.
All right, give us something bad about Phil.
So I love Phil to death, so I say this in love, but he always tries to kill me no matter what I am, whether as a player, as an NPC. I went with the party in the last patron run, of course, because I always do. of SkullCon, and I walked into the room, and he dragged out combat so long to try to kill my NPC, and the party was like, "You're not killing the NPC." They were throwing everything they could to stop him, and he could not kill me, and it felt so satisfying because Phil always tries to kill me. So.
Good, yeah. Hashtag Phil is the worst. So I'm with you there. Yes. All right. So from the chat, what is a costume you have never made but would one day like to make for the dungeon? Same question to Trent. What? I don't make costumes. You take this one.
Yes. So, well, I'm already in the process of making a costume I've always wanted to make. However, it's for Darkhold Keep, so I can't say anything. You'll just have to see it in the dungeon.
Okay.
But I would love to eventually make a pirate outfit. So I'm hoping if they choose me for Crimson, for the Crimson series at MomoCon, that I can be a pirate, because I've always wanted to be a pirate. So.
Well, I recall Jeff saying that next year is going to be pirate themed as well, so I think the chances are very good.
Yeah.
All right. So next, I see. Pick is asking, and same question to Trent. What's a cosplay you would like to do? All right. So I'm going to be honest with you. Here's the thing. Don't ask me a question unless you want the honest answer. It's just my mom gave me a conscience, and I tell the truth. So good luck. So, my wife, who I adore, her name is Jen. Sounds like Jen, like the drink, but it's spelled with a J. She endures quite a bit. There's tokens literally everywhere. There's D&D minis literally everywhere. There's an enormous giant red dragon that she wanted me to put in here, but it lives in the living room / dining room. And she said that she draws the line at cosplay. I don't know why, but that's what she said, so I have to abide by her line. So I can't make any cosplays, and I've never done cosplay. Oh wait, I kind of did it at a Ren Fair, but I was a hired actor there, so I don't know if that counts. So she won't let me do cosplay, Pick, and it might be because she knows that I'm crazy, and if I start, I'll never stop, and then there'll just be costumes everywhere, and every day I'll be training a new character. Hello, today is the blah 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 character. So Pick, unfortunately, no cosplaying for me. All right, so Stephen Watkins question. This may be weird. Oh, here we go.
Oh no.
But Cover Stealing Badger, my partner, awesome, noticed that your Instagram mentioned getting together at Ren Fair with your Austin and Arkansas friends. What is your connection to Arkansas?
So I have a friend there that I met at cosplay convention when I was about 15. Her name's Erica, and she lives in Arkansas. Now she lives in Missouri. So she comes and she visits every year for Ren Fest, because she's a teacher, so she doesn't get many days off. But we have a long, deep friendship, and she's a lot of fun. So we're doing a whole Viking princess theme this year for the Renaissance Festival that she's gonna join me and another girl with. So we have a big thing every year at the Texas Renaissance Festival, which is one of the biggest Renaissance festivals in the United States. So
really cool. Yeah, I've been to the Maryland Ren Fair, but I don't think I ever went as a normal person. That's where I was hired to do a summer. Ren Fairs are awesome. If you've never done a Ren Fair, holy smokes, they're so cool. Ren Fairs are great. So Texas is one of the big ones, right?
Yes.
And where in Texas specifically?
It's about an hour outside of Houston and Todd Mission. So it's a little city that's completely dedicated to the Ren Fair, basically, because that's how big it is. It takes over a majority of the city.
Now that sounds exactly what I'm talking about for True Dungeon Fair or True Dungeon Land or whatever we can come up with. All right, so great question, Stephen. And Stephen says that both of them are from Arkansas and have lived in Austin for the past 20 plus years. So it's a small world. It is a small world. And Phil, with many exclamation marks, says, "What?" And I think that's about us abusing him.
Oh yeah, me talking crap about Phil. I love you, Phil.
No, but it's not true, Phil. Nothing but hate. Kusick says Grunnel funnels will keep you alive next year, 100%. Okay, there's many ways to keep you alive. And Matthew Blum says, "Woohoo, woo! You can always join my gang of pirates. They'll be at Gamehole Con." And John says, "I'll ask Lori about slotting you with Crimson Isle next week." Oh, look at there. With enemies like this, who needs friends, right?
I know, right?
Squirrel Lau is very excited about Erica. That's what they say, Erica. Speaking of Gamehole Con, are you going to be at Gamehole Con?
Yes, I'm going to be an NPC in Darkhold Keep. I'll be the only one, so you'll see me the entire weekend in that role. So,
wow.
Yes.
So,
What, nobody's listening. Just me and you here.
Yeah, it's just
What can you tell us about Darkhold Keep? Come on, it's just us friends.
yeah. I'll give you a little. I mean, Jeff isn't here. Lori isn't here. They don't know.
No,
we'll
nobody's
just
here.
keep it between us.
It's just us.
The chat will keep us between us. So Darkhold Keep is going to be a very gothic, dark adventure. Lots of dead things. So my costume is going to incorporate a lot of that. No, I will not be something you can kill, so please don't think about that. I know all of you. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's all I know.
I think you know more. I can see it, but you don't want to tell it. That's okay. I understand. I won't pressure you, but we heard gothic, lots of death. I wonder if that's all the people who went through before that didn't survive.
Maybe.
And for those of you who don't know, Gamehole Con is the 20th through the 23rd in October, and Ashley's birthday is Thursday, October 20th. So when you see her there, please say happy birthday. And not that anybody cares, but my birthday is on the 16th, so I would have already aged, after that. All right, so let's... any final questions for the chat, please throw them in, because I'm about to wrap up here. And again, stay tuned to the end of the show, because I have a very special announcement for True Dungeon fans. Let's see. So Pick says Team Grunnel. Oh, here we go. Very important question. Team Grunnel, Gip Gup, Francis, or Rock?
Well, obviously, it's my goblin husband, Grunnel. Like, I don't know why that's even a question, Pick. Like, what are you trying to start a fight in the dungeon?
You made her angry. You made her angry. Here's the evil NPC.
My goodness.
What's wrong with you, Pick?
What is wrong with you?
Okay, no more questions. You're banned. Gift Strife has a question. When you have the spare time, do you take commissions when not making costumes for True Dungeon?
No, I do not, because I do not have enough time between my real job and True Dungeon. So, no, I only make costumes for True Dungeon for myself. So, no.
No.
I can give you links to people who are phenomenal at doing that, but I don't have enough time.
There you go. Reach out to Ashley for great recommendations. And one would assume if Ashley's going to recommend them, they're going to be incredible.
Yes.
And Cover Still Badger says that's an excellent question to Guild Strife. And Pick says he is an agent of chaos. That's why he was doing that question there.
Yeah.
And Squirrel Owl, don't worry, she can be evil. I know from experience. Okay. Adams asks, do you have a favorite sort of costume you like to make?
I'd love to be a pirate or even a siren. So if there's something in Crimson Island about that, I would love to be a siren to lure players to their doom, or a pirate so I can make the worst jokes you've ever heard.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd love to do either two of those costumes, because you would finally have your evil NPC. There you go.
Got it. Understood. So I think this tells me I need to put a seed back here. If I ever see you as a siren NPC, I should just run, because you have only one thing in mind, to bring us to our doom. Understood.
Mm-hmm.
Gilfstrife says, insert Darth Vader.
No! All right.
No, that's very good. All right. So, okay, one final question from the chat. Star Wars, Star Trek, Harry Potter, or Lord of the Rings?
Oh, I like Lord of the Rings. I do not like the newest series that Amazon has done. So if you negate that,
angry. Okay.
Oh yeah, I can go into a rant about the Lord of the Rings series. It is the costume design is sloppy for a production of that level. So
I feel like
you heard it first here, Ashley.
You heard it first
Lord
here.
Of the Rings
Oh my God!
By Amazon sloppy.
I know who will never be a future sponsor of the show. Of course, I have no sponsors. Well, I guess Trent Tokens is a sponsor, but that's okay. Interesting. Well, that's great. Yeah. And Squirrel Owl says she just channels her inner Ariel with a siren NPC. So, and Tom also agrees. Sloppy costume design. All right, so I have one final question, and before I ask that final question, do you have anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't talk about? I know you're a big fan of D&D. I mean, maybe how did you get into D&D, and like what's your favorite class? I know that's actually something I wanted to ask you. So there you go. How did you get into D&D, and what's your favorite class?
So I got into D&D. It was actually at Gamehole Con. Was the first time I ever played D&D. Yeah. And we tried out an Adventures League game, and I was like, I am hooked. Like, I am here. So we've been playing. My favorite class is definitely Cleric. I love being the support and the healing on the team. It's very satisfying to know that the party would die without you.
Yeah, right. Now, what type of cleric? Do you have a particular, do you like life cleric, or what do you
Yeah,
like?
I love Twilight Domain cleric because it's like you can see in the dark really well, which is really fun. And you can also bless other players by giving them advantage on initiative rolls. So there's always some type of support you can do for other people. So I love that aspect. I can be kind of very versatile in that and always support other players, which always feels very, very good.
That's cool. Yeah, I usually play attacking type characters, but I have played a cleric, and it was really fun, So, yeah, clerics are very, very cool. All right, so my final question of the interview here. We got a couple of things coming in. I'll mention this first. Christopher says Nia is literally a hospital helicopter. I'm sure that means something to somebody. Adam asks, if you could pick a cleric domain to benefit from your daily life, which one would you choose? Interesting question.
That is a very interesting question. For my daily life, for my boss's sake, I'd probably, if there was a domain of sleep, I would definitely pick that so I could, so he could sleep. So better.
Really? Wow. But see, and that's still once again trying to heal someone.
Yeah. So I love my boss. He's the best boss I've ever had. And I always want to do better and just make his life easier. So
that's very cool. Yeah, that sounds like spoken like a true cleric. And Tom says, we went all the way to Gamehole to play True Dungeon, then said, we might as well play this D&D game that everyone here is playing. That's incredible. Yeah. So Gamehole, at this particular Gamehole, was this the first time that you played D&D and the first time that you played True Dungeon?
No, True Dungeon was PAX South.
That's
D&D
right. That's right.
Gamehole.
You mentioned that. Cool. Yeah, got it. Yeah, my first time playing D&D was, I think, 2015 or 16, and then soon thereafter I played my first True Dungeon game, which is amazing. My buddy Sean introduced me to that. So yeah, and the rest is history. And then Cover Stealing Badger says Twilight Domain for the win. And B Powers has the sunglasses emoji. So well said, B Powers. I'm with you. All right, so final question of the interview before I let you go, and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Who is your favorite player, and why is it Trent?
Actually, I have a story about this. So,
okay.
I have a story about why you're my favorite player.
All right. So this is a joke question. You can't be for real.
I am very serious right now, so we'll end on this.
I'm too
very
bashful.
good, embarrassing note for Trent.
No,
My very
no.
first NPC role ever was at PAX South. It was my first time ever NPCing. I didn't know what I was doing.
Okay.
I was trying to do my best. And you came into my room with a few people. One guy you dragged off the streets. He'd never played True Dungeon before, but he was having a baller time.
Okay.
And my DM hadn't made it back from his break yet. So I pulled back the curtain. I was playing the animatronic. I was trying to DM. I was trying to play NPC. So I was doing a bunch
I remember this.
all at once. And you guys were so sweet and so patient. And it made me want to keep coming back. So Trent is an amazing player. If you get a chance to be on a run with him, he will make it fun, and he's the life of the party. And that made an impression on me, though. I remember that from 2019.
I remember that too. And now I remember what you're talking about. I remember you doing that, and I thought, whoa, what a terrible situation for you to be in. Let's have fun, and let's help support the situation.
Yeah.
Well, that's super sweet of you to say, and I'm probably 100 shades of red embarrassed, and that's very sweet of you to say, and thank you so much for the very kind words. But I will say to anyone who doesn't know this already, the True Dungeon community is an amazing community, and there you just heard an example of. I mean, look how sweet Ashley is to be so kind. But for the great majority of the True Dungeon community, that's an example. They're just great people who it takes time and energy to be a volunteer.
It does.
And it also takes time and energy to decide to want to go and to build a character and play, because there's so many different things to do at a convention. But the True Dungeon people are just the best. So if you happen to be new and watching this show, thank you for doing that. But definitely check out the truedungeon.com forums and go to td.vols.com if you're interested in volunteering. And it's an incredible community. And actually, again, thank you for the sweet words. But I would like to ask you one final question. Sure. For the people who have never volunteered before and are thinking about it but not quite sure, what would you say to those people?
I would say jump in feet first and do it. TD has a role for you. And you can, if you don't like a role that you're in, maybe you try AV tech and you're like, man, I really don't like this. They will accommodate you and find a role that you feel successful at and thrive in. Whether that be somebody at the front desk, kind of talking to new players, getting them integrated into the game. TD has so many different wonderful roles, even just local install group. At PAX West, we had a very small crew, and I got the chance to decorate Valorian's Feast for PAX West. And I tell you, that was so much fun. Me and another volunteer, we just jumped right into it and worked our way through the dungeon, doing every room. And it was an incredible experience. You'll find something, maybe set dressing is what you like, and that's a very relatable skill into real life. There are people in Hollywood that do this as a job, and you can translate your TD skills anywhere, really.
Yeah, that is true. There's when you're starting out in film, there's only a few positions that pay, and usually set dressing and set building, those are paid positions. Well, thank you very much again, Ashley. This has been, don't tell anybody, but one of my favorite interviews. Incredibly nice, extremely talented, NPC and costume designer. What a special treat. Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed yourself as well. And everyone, go to check out Burnt the Waffles at Instagram. And I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a good one. And that's it. Thank you so much, Ashley. See you next time.
Bye, guys.
All right.
You at GameholeCon.
That's right.
Chat.
See you at GameholeCon for everyone that's going. All right. Thank you, Ashley. Wow, that was awesome. That was Ashley Burns, everyone. So what an incredible nice person, and great interview. And for those of you who have stuck around, I will now share the special announcement. For many people who, well, not many people, for the people who happen to know me and have heard through the forums or other chats or chatting, or maybe I saw you at SkullCon or whatever, I mentioned that, work has been, pretty busy this year, and I usually schedule my whole year like in January, and this year is just too nuts, so I couldn't make it to GameholeCon. But some time freed up, and I have now been able to
go to GameholeCon.
So that's one of the special announcements. I actually have two special announcements. So if that one's not too special and you don't care, then that's fine. But I'm going to GameholeCon. So you heard it here first. Really excited. GameholeCon is one of my favorite conventions. It's not too big, not too small. It's right there in the sweet spot. I'm a sponsor there for the convention, and I'm also a sponsor of one of their nights. Each night they do like this free beer event, and I'm the Friday night sponsor, and I told them to give me that night forever. So it's at 6 o'clock on Friday, and the event is basically just free beer at the Clarion Hotel in the lobby. So if you're available, swing by. And in the past, especially for people who have been there in the past, when I sponsored that night, I usually do this big drawing. So I don't have enough time to do like a huge thing, but I'm thinking about doing what I did at SkullCon, basically make it a free pizza night. So free pizza and beer, and I'm also going to try to figure out how to get soda there. And I'll probably do some giveaways too, but nothing enormously huge like I've done in the past. But I hope next year to get back into like the big thing. So yes, I'm going to GameholeCon. Friday night is the what do they call that? The Friday night reception sponsored by Trent Tokens. That's what that is. So yes, and I'll order pizza and it'll be good. So now the second special announcement. So if you're still here and you're watching this live, again, thank you so much. Don't forget that algorithm thing, liking and subscribing and sharing with your friends. I really appreciate it to help get the word out about True Dungeon. But I have a little special gift for you, for the people who are listening. Now, for the month of October, I'm going to do a special for the website. It's going to be 10% off. The code is GHC 2022. So GHC 2022. Yes. But that's in October. But for you guys who are watching now, the code is live. I'm not going to advertise it, so it's just for you. So from like right now, the 24th through the 30th of September, the code is active. So anything on the website is 10% off, and I mean everything, consignment stuff, everything that's there. Again, the code is GHC2022, and there you go. So there's a little special announcement as a special thank you for watching the show and hanging around this long. The code is live right now, so enjoy, and then I'll advertise it for the month of October. And that's it. Thank you so much. Let me check the chat real here quick. Let's see. Pick says throw a like if you haven't. Oh, thank you, Pick. Yes, throw those likes around. Liking and liking. And Tom says, had a great time. Yeah, me too, Tom. Thank you. Let's see. Matthew says Trent is going to be at GameholeCon. Yes. Pick says that's awesome. Thank you. Kusik says, what days am I going to be there? I'm going to get there. Let's see, where am I? The 19th. So I'm getting there Wednesday. I'm also a patron, and Wednesday they like a special patron event. So I'm going to go, I'll be there Wednesday. And so, yeah, there you go. And Mr. C, Tom says, woohoo, see you there. Was planning to visit your free beer event. Great, Tom, I will see you there. It's now a free beer and pizza event. Kuzik, join the Thursday 625 Darkhold if you'll be there. That's the fun run. Thursday 625. Oh, I'm not sure what that run is. So yeah, I'll look that up, Kusik. And Farsteer says, I will 100% be there. Great. I will see you there. So again, thank you everyone for watching the show. It's a real treat to do the show and help spread the love and the word of True Dungeon. That sounded kind of culty. Oh, I should take two. It's really great doing the show and to spread the... No, let's do it. Love and world. Yeah, it's a cult of True Dungeon. And I really appreciate all of your support. And yes, I'll be at GameholeCon. And again, the special is 10% off right now. GHC 2022. And that's it. Thank you all for watching. Everyone, please have a good time with everything. And don't forget, my favorite thing to say is, it's really hard to frown if you're smiling, so smile.